Hey everyone, for this video I'm going to be talking about Ricky Gervais. Coming from a working class background, Gervais began his career in the 80s as the frontman of the ridiculous new wave band Siona Dancing, and then continued his comedy career by transitioning to hosting talk shows. Soon after, Gervais achieved massive fame when he created the wildly popular YouTube channel, The Office. This was preceded by the similarly dry, cringe-heavy shows The Office and Extras. Jettisoned into stardom by the success of these shows, Gervais went on to make a podcast called The Ricky Gervais Show with friends why is every British person's name impossible to say? Friends Carl Pilkington and Stephen Merchant, which was pretty funny, and a bunch of movies, TV shows, and stand-up specials which were pretty not. When it comes to stand-up specifically, I think Ricky's shortcomings are most clearly visible in his best special, Talking Funny. Talking Funny is a filmed conversation between Louis C.K., Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, and inexplicably Ricky Gervais, in which they discuss things like their personal approaches and philosophies to comedy, as well as the ethics of game journalism.
All the negative things we think about black people, this fucker...
You're saying I'm arrogant?
Yes, you are the arrogant fucking white man I have ever...
Amazing. I don't think he could do that. I don't think he has those qualities.
You don't even understand.
Really?
You don't really know him. Like, I've worked with him.
No, like your bit about...
I wouldn't use it anywhere.
No, exactly. These two
We
use
say
that
arrogant stage.
on stage.
You guys don't. That's
That's
interesting
the
two
difference.
teams
That's the
here.
difference between,
That's right. That's right.
We
say
can
arrogant
behave in
stage, you
different
guys
ways,
don't.
but that's definitely a pairing. Who
We
says
say-
an arrogant stage? We don't.
Well, you just did.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
You and me say arrogant private.
They talk about their different approaches to stand-up comedy, and it becomes pretty clear that Ricky cannot hang despite, or perhaps because of, how badly he wants to.
Yeah.
But then I get laughs where I'm like, this is a huge, broad, cheap laugh, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I don't,
Really?
yeah, I don't
Do you
mind.
know- I think
mind that.
I think
If it's
I'll do it.
inside of my act.
Do you know what I think I'll do that, but I'll cut that for the DVD. I don't
really?
mind
Just
getting
get
it
the
into
energy?
town.
No, I
but
like
I'll cut
it. I
that. I
like
don't
that.
want it out there. I don't want it
Yeah.
documented that I got a cheap laugh.
If you can stand on stage and say it, and it works that big, then it's yours. And to cut it out because you're embarrassed, that's kind of not fair.
I have to justify it. I have to work on it. I have to give it something else. This is where I think that I'm judged. I let myself be judged. You. That I want you guys to go.
Well, let me tell you what
Do you know
impresses
what I mean?
me. If you leave it in, that's what will impress me.
It's in.
The whole special is honestly really interesting and really cool to watch if you're a big fan of comedy and you want to relive the experience of going to hang out with your cool friends but your mom makes you bring your little brother along. Also, two of your cool friends are sexual predators. Anyway, outside of comedy, Ricky is a massive animal rights advocate. He was a major advocate for gay marriage in the UK. He also defended J.K. Rowling's mask-off TERF tweet. He has also spent several comedy specials and award ceremonies dead naming and misgendering trans people, as well as identifying as an attack helicopter. And religiously, he is a devout Muslim. I have to fact check that. Some people are saying that he's an atheist, but I don't really know. He doesn't really talk about religion very much. And most recently, Ricky Gervais hosted the Golden Globes for the 5th and final time, which, now that I've sufficiently poisoned the well, let's dive in. Since I'm under the age of 50, I didn't actually watch the Golden Globes on TV. Instead, I just found out about Ricky's monologue via Twitter. Specifically, I found out about it through more conservative accounts who just loved the speech. So what exactly did these people like about the speech so much? Let's take a stroll through the menagerie together and find out.
Ricky Gervais destroys Hollywood in the most beautiful way possible.
You can't talk about any of this, and you can't talk about any of the stuff in politics. I don't know, all this shit offends us.
She can't get up there and for 2.5 minutes go without making it about politics, which is exactly what Ricky Gervais was talking about. In fact, one of his other jokes was how most of the people in that room have less education than Greta Thunberg. Michelle Williams is one of many celebrities who left school to pursue a career in acting.
But then every so often, you get somebody like George Carlin Or Ricky Gervais over here. Take a look at this dude. We're over at Breitbart. This guy has the right mentality for what's going on. He sees this PC fucking movement out here, this authoritative left out.
He's saying something regular Americans agree with. He actually got conservative Americans to watch the Golden Globes. Can you believe this? The ratings probably went up.
So let's pray for them to come to really know the Lord. Let's pray that those that have good, strong moral stands would get their message out in Hollywood.
This is what makes Ricky Gervais such a genius here, a comedic genius.
Dear celebrities, I'm sorry to be the one to have to break this to you, but we do not care, not in the slightest particle of an imaginary thing, what you think.
Let's pray for a revolution within Hollywood, so rather than hurting people or misleading people or misguiding people or seducing people or desensitizing people, rather than doing that they would get a great message out, one that brings hope, one that brings liberty, one that brings freedom, one that brings godliness, one that even brings holiness.
And that he exposed the fact that our Hollywood elite have no problem mocking and ridiculing and slandering us, the conservatives of the world. They had no problem scorning with their obnoxious and loathsome contempt people like Trump and his deplorable supporters. They have no problem mocking and ridiculing those of us who love nation, culture, custom, and tradition and the like.
So first impressions here, these don't seem like the type of people that I, or Ricky Gervais for that matter, would particularly get along with. They're all extremely conservative and, more importantly for Ricky, very religious Christians. Also, that last guy I showed is absolutely amazing. So like, not only is there all the classic conservative douchebag window dressing in the background, but his channel is literally sponsored by a company that sells MRE rations to doomsday preppers. But as my mother always said, never judge a controversial monologue by the horrible men who vlog about it in their cars. My mom is horrifyingly online. So let's watch the speech for ourselves and see what we think of it. The first thing that you notice is that it's impossible to find a full version of the speech because everyone either cut it up or just played the audio over top of this same one still frame of Ricky Gervais cumming himself. The first thing that we notice is that it's funny. There are a couple weak spots. I did find the opening pretty cringy with how he goes on about how edgy he's about to be.
I don't care anymore. I'm joking. I never did. NBC clearly don't care either. Fifth time.
Prepare yourself because you've never seen comedy like this before. I'm about to be critical of celebrities. I thought the Felicity Huffman joke was just a little bit lame.
I came here in a limo tonight and the license plate was made by Felicity Huffman. So...
just felt kind of generic. I mean, 15 years ago you could have made the exact same joke but just used Martha Stewart instead. And then I thought the Sophie's Choice joke was just kind of hack.
I've heard a rumour that there might be a sequel to Sophie's Choice. I mean, that'd just be Meryl Streep going, well, it's got to be this one then.
It just works because it's like edgy to make a Holocaust joke in a high school fedora kind of way, which now that I'm saying that out loud, that is Ricky Gervais' brand, so fair enough. But other than that, I thought it was just pretty good. And it seemed like something lots of people on the left would like. Ricky joked about Harvey Weinstein being a predator, which he is, and the rest of Hollywood being complacent, which they are. Which, why am I supposed to be mad about that? And then there was the Epstein joke.
You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching the show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer, and it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you?
Saying that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself is literally the only bipartisan political statement you can make in 2020. And don't get me wrong, I like these jokes, and it was really cool watching them be told to a room full of people who were in Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book. Like, that's great. But I just don't see where all these leftist tears are supposed to be coming from. When you look at the response to the speech, though, the hashtag that got going on conservative Twitter was hashtag Hollywood Hypocrisy. So let's talk about that. The other joke that really got people going was this one.
So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God.
Now, this is the only joke that I would say I actually have some issue with. I think that if you have a massive platform, I'm all for using it for good. But, you know, I'm not totally unsympathetic to people who find celebrities grandstanding to be a little irksome. I mean, you're an actor. Where do you get off telling me what to think? Like, get a load of this pompous clown.
Thanks everyone in the room for being good sports. Thanks to NBC. Thanks to Hollywood Foreign Press. Thank you for watching at home. And thank you to God for making me an atheist.
Oh shit. This is the biggest issue that I have with this speech. It feels a little hollow when plenty of Ricky's most scathing lines could be levied against him too. Take those jokes about Epstein and Weinstein. Dope, love them, awesome. But yes, same kind of goes for these right-wing commentators who love the monologue so much.
Apple CEO Tim Cook was there in the audience because Apple has now entered the entertainment industry. And so Ricky just went straight for the jugular there, sort of his initiation, Apple's initiation to this. So he said about the Apple Corporation, Apple roared into the TV game with The Morning Show, which is a superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China, okay?
Which, yes, Tim Cook's face is gold. But also, I'm a little skeptical of how much Dr. Doomsday Prepper cares about the plight of sweatshop workers. Now, there are a couple responses that I could imagine coming from people who disagree with me and are, for some reason, still watching this, which, hey, I appreciate you guys. So many people only watch the first 2 minutes of these videos before angrily writing a comment that will one day be used as evidence in a murder trial. But I work somewhat hard on these videos. If you're gonna disagree with me, the absolute least that you could do is watch to the end, like, subscribe, hit that bell, become a top tier patron, and then leave a comment telling me to kill myself. Anyways, one objection I could see is that everyone's hypocritical at times. You know, we're all human. You can't just dismiss anyone who's ever contradicted themselves. To which I say, fucking watch me. But if you feel that way, fine, that's fair. But in that case, what's so brave about what Ricky Gervais did calling out hypocrisy if everyone's hypocritical? Another response is that Ricky Gervais knows that he's full of shit. You know, he's self-aware, he gets it. He's just, as the Brits say, taking a piss. Now, I definitely do not personally know Ricky Gervais, and I'm happy to be corrected here, but he doesn't strike me as the most self-aware dude in the world. But I'm definitely being kind of a dick here, and honestly, I think a more interesting question is, what if Ricky is aware of all of this? What does that say then? Sorry, it's coronavirus. In an episode of the podcast Citations Needed, they make a good point about how pointless the type of hypocrisy takedowns you see on shows like The Daily Show actually are. While yes, it's bad to be hypocritical, it's kind of meaningless to show that someone contradicted themselves if you aren't willing to say which stance was right and which was wrong. Without taking that stance and making that critique, you're just left with pointless cynicism. It all feels very South Park. People always say that Trey Parker and Matt Stone are these brilliant political critics, while all their message really amounts to is just caring about things makes you a loser. And I don't want to be a loser. I want to win. And that's the message in Ricky's speech, too. He's not calling these celebrities out so that they'll do better. He's calling them out because trying to do better makes you a sucker. So don't try. And if that's the alternative, I'll take lame grandstanding over nihilism. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Sorry for getting all lame and sincere at the end. If you like this video, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell, and becoming a patron. And speaking of patrons, big thank you to all of mine who helped me do what I'm doing right now. Especially thank you to Beth Solman, Brett Long, Comrade Sai, Isokun, Jacqueline E. Gother, John Price, JP Vari, Mr. Awesome Be Cool, Stacy Solano, and Will Jarvis. Big thank you to Will Jarvis for his help making the great music that you are listening to. For like the second half, Will is not Tay Keith, but he still fucks people up. Thanks so much, and peace.